right, 34 after the hour now. I'm Doug Stephan with Victoria Keelan and Kara Schillen, and also someone who has been a huge help to me, having been in this country for almost a week now, and I'm fortunate in that I have been here 4 times, and each time I have been here, I have had a different experience going to different places, being around different people, and learning different things. But I think I learned more in a sort of textbook, and I say this in a very positive light, because the fellow that I'm going to introduce you to is like a walking textbook when it comes to knowledge of this country. But he has a very interesting story to tell. Ofer Moghadam is a native in a sense. And what you find, this is an uncommon story for America, but not an uncommon story for Israel. You were born here, then you went to Germany to live.
No, I was born in Germany.
You were born in Germany.
Exactly.
Yep.
My parents are Jewish Israelis,
right,
who met here, got married here in this country. And in the early 60s, they were sort of looking for a better future, let's say, in Europe. Mm-hmm. They found their way to Germany. West Germany back then, of course.
And what year is this?
This is early 60s. I'm guessing 1961, 62.
Really? So by that time, things had calmed down in Germany enough.
Absolutely. This is about 15 years after the Second World War.
Right. Yeah.
Still not the natural choice, I would say.
I wouldn't have thought. No,
yeah,
I would
for Jewish, Israeli couple to come.
Well, let's see if I can go to France, maybe,
exactly.
or Italy, or England, but not to Germany.
So quite an odd choice. But as far as I remember, the story goes that my dad had an uncle there who had, his foot in the door in the
work and stuff.
At work, there being of Persian origin, of Iranian origin, that uncle had a carpet business in Frankfurt.
All right, so but your roots are Iranian. A lot of people don't understand that a lot of the original Jewish settlers here came from Iran. Given the animosity that's projected by the leadership in Iran toward the Israeli state, you don't think anybody in Iran is Jewish. But there are lots of Christians in Iran.
There's Christians.
A lot of Jews
people.
Now.
There's Jews.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this, Doug. There's the biggest Jewish community in the Middle East outside of Israel is in Iran.
Right.
Yeah.
And
So people wouldn't think that because of the animosity of the regime there towards Israel. But actually, the Jews there, they live a more or less of an okay lifestyle there.
Mm-hmm. Well, Iran is a very progressive country. The biggest problem they have is with their leadership.
Absolutely.
The younger people coming along don't like the political structure. They don't like the political leadership.
Yeah.
Apparently, there are a lot of people who are just, it's a very well-educated society.
Very, very
and that's not going to work in favor of the leadership, at least the Ayatollahs. They're not going to, you don't see that. Anyway, I don't want to get stuck on Iran. So, Iranian roots, born in Germany, of Israeli parents. Then you go to live in America.
Then I went to live in the States. I opened a jewelry business in the States. My dad, you have to understand, after working in the carpet business, he became a diamond dealer in a small town in southwestern Germany at the Black Forest area.
Right.
This town was known for its jewelry manufacturing. And that's where he sort of got stuck, let's say, for about 35 years. And that's where me and all of my siblings were.
So, but you were living in Evanston, Illinois.
Later on, yeah. So this is the way my story goes. I finished high school in Germany. I came to Israel, sort of back to my roots, the country where my parents are coming from. I studied here at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. I studied here. I got my bachelor's degree in international relations. And after that, I was sort of drafted into the family business. And my dad asked me to go to the U.S. and open up, let's say, a branch over there because they were still living back in Germany at that time. And they asked me to, get things started in the States so they can come over after a while. And this is how it happened.
All right. So then you tired of that and you came back here, trained as a guide.
Exactly.
And are an extraordinarily good one. I've learned more about Israel. I mean, I certainly have studied it, and we all have things that we learn in our own religious backgrounds about what happened in Israel, or what some historians supposedly say happened. Yeah. But you've taught me a lot of things.
Well, you always ask the right questions, Doug. So it's a give and take thing.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm very curious, and we've learned a lot about a lot of different things and places here that are important for, especially this time of year. We're so focused on religiosity, the fact that it's Christmas in a couple of days, it's Hanukkah, how the ancient tribes have sort of come together, but yet not together.
Exactly.
And so it's been a pleasure to have you along helping, because a lot of what I'm obviously repeating has been words that have come from you that have stayed in my brain.
Okay,
and then I'm relaying them along. Yeah. So under the circumstances, when you have these groups that come here, what are they most knowledgeable about, or what are they most surprised? When you tell them a story about something that happened in some place, what do you find most people say?
Let's keep it more general. The thing is, people, especially when they come from Western Europe, I do a lot, being born and raised in Germany, I do a lot of German.
You speak 3 languages?
Fluently, yes. So German, Hebrew, and English.
Yeah.
I speak a little bit of Farsi as well, the Persian language.
Yeah.
And I had a South American girlfriend, so I speak some Spanish and a bit of French, because I studied that in high school. But I could just, babble in those languages. My real good languages are German, English, and Hebrew.
Right.
So we said that most of my customers are really from Germany, although I do a lot of Americans too. The impression one gets about not just the country of Israel, but the region in all, is that it's a war zone. And this is, as you can tell your listeners, definitely not the case.
No.
Israel specifically, and especially Tel Aviv, is a super cosmopolitan city. This is a very
That's open. A nightlife.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you can party the night away here like nowhere else in the Middle East. And, it's a very open society, a lot of things happening. And people, when they come here, first, they think that this is a war zone. And after the first half hour driving away from the airport, they're asking me always, where are the tanks? Where are the army jeeps? Where are the soldiers? Where do we go when we get attacked? Yeah, where are the security blocks at the street? We don't have that kind of thing here, because this is what...
I did explain yesterday, though, when we were going by the West Bank and the settlements, how there was a roadway next to the main roadway where the Humvees and the MRAPs and the soldiers go to patrol on the West Bank side of things to keep the Palestinians
in check and to keep things quiet. As I explained to you, to have boots on the ground, to basically protect the Jewish Israeli population of Jerusalem from any possible attacks. And again, thank God, these days things are quiet. But we have talked also about the second Arab uprising in the early 2000s, and things were pretty bleak at that time, and that's when we had to separate ourselves.
I think the first time I came here was after, I'm going to say 2004 was the first time again. Things had settled down, but still not really.
On the edge,
not really settled down. Well, it's a pleasure to have made your acquaintance, and I'm sure when I come back here again, you'll be the person that I go to.
It will be my honor and my pleasure.
Well, I think we've learned a lot, and we've had a good time together. Ofer Moghadam, who is an excellent tour guide here in not just Jerusalem, not Tel Aviv, but for the whole country. He has knowledge of the whole country, and that's something that's a benefit. Good to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug.
It's 42 past the hour. In a moment, we